Let's try it right now. Watch this.
Ew.
Nice.
Oh.
Completely changes the scene. Completely changes.
Hello, and welcome back to Rewatching Home Movies, a weekly watch-along podcast where three friends break down the 2001 Adult Swim animated series, Home Movies. My name is Tim, and I am obsessed with home movies.
My name's Adele, and I'm a home movies newbie.
My name is Marcin, and I've never seen home movies.
Home Movies Season 1, Episode 9, titled Life Through a Fisheye Lens. Original air date September 23rd, 2001 on Adult Swim. Written by Brendan Small, Bill Brightus, Lauren Bouchard, H. John Benjamin, and Janine DiTullio, as well as Melissa Barton-Galsky, directed by Lauren Bouchard. The synopsis as per Home Movies Wiki, short and sweet, Brendan wants money for a fisheye lens. Let's just end it there.
Okay.
So, period. Before we jump into this episode, let's take a little dive into the creative corner, shall we?
Hell yeah.
Does anyone want to go first? The creative corner, of course, is where we bring up one thing we're either consuming, making, producing, whatever, in the creative realms that we want to bring to light.
I wonder who wants to go first.
I'll go first.
Oh.
Let's mix it up. My creative corner is actually somebody I've been watching for like maybe 8 years at this point. I found him on Facebook eons ago, and his name is Barnaby Dixon. He is an Englishman who also, his thing is puppetry. You hear of puppets? You ever
I like puppets a lot.
I fucking love puppets, dude.
Puppets are really fun.
He is really good. He kind of blew up because he had this creation called Dabchick, which is like this little hand puppet that he has of a little like bird. But he actually blew up so much that they had him work on the Dark Crystal TV show.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was walking by right there and I saw a Dark Crystal thing. I don't know what that is on the table.
Well, they're trading cards.
I love Dark Crystal.
We like Dark Crystal in this house.
I actually picked up a Dark Crystal VHS the other day. I found it while thrifting.
That's so dope.
It was really...
Now you just need a VHS player.
I have one of those TVs that I bought that have like a VCR player connected
nice.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I have a VHS collection slowly making its way into my home.
That's so dope. I wish, well, we have so many VHSs in my parents' basement. I'm like, I want a VHS player just to go down that rabbit hole. Barnaby Dixon, he does everything himself. He does a lot of like blacklight puppetry. He sings all the songs. He makes a lot of like musicals with his puppets. He does everything, and he's really fucking good. And like every time he posts, I'm like, we need to watch this.
Can you send me his stuff?
I mean, we could probably pull up something right now.
Yeah,
but
screw the podcast.
no, I'm just kidding. We can watch
Barnaby
something
Dixon.
afterwards.
No, he is really cool, and he does a lot of progress videos. He 3D prints a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, and he does amazing work.
He puts his heart and soul into it. He thinks of things like little details with each puppet that you wouldn't even think about, and it's really impressive.
Eddie loves puppets. That was one of his dreams as a child, was to become a puppet maker, and he used to have all his action figures and rip them apart and put them back together because he loved creating that stuff.
Yeah.
And I am currently trying to figure out how to make puppets because doing work on Sotka 2, there's this big prop that I need to work on that scares me to death, so I really want to look into that guy.
Yes, yeah. After the podcast, we'll pull up his YouTube channel.
The second you said blacklight puppetry, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's so good, dude. It's so good.
That is really dope.
Yeah. Well, that's my creative corner, so...
That's a really good one.
Thank you.
Recently, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love movies. Like, that's one of my biggest passions.
I think I've picked up on that.
I really do love movies. There's something about, like, just sitting down, watching movies with friends, and, like, talk. I love the conversation after a movie about, like, how you felt about it, how everyone, like, their experience was going into it. I hate when I watch a movie with friends, and then afterwards, no one says anything about the movie. No one has any impact on it.
Right.
It really gets to me. Like, the first time I watched The Craft with you guys, it was great. And I love, like, I have, like, my favorites. It takes a lot to get a movie into my favorites. I have, like, for a long time I just had like my top 3 favorite movies, which was Jaws, Coraline, Sing Street. Last time I found a favorite movie was Sing Street in 2016. Great movie. I love that movie so much. I can love a lot of movies. I like a lot of movies, but recently a movie hit and it's now my top 4. And that is, I don't want to spoil anything about it. I really would just like people to go watch it. Don't look up anything about it. Just like, I let me know how you experienced it, what your thoughts were. A lot of people aren't going to like it. A lot of people aren't going to understand it. But I saw the TV glow.
You were telling me about this, and I really want to watch it.
I watched it, and it was so different than anything that I've watched in the past 10 years.
Wow.
It was really, really cool. I don't want to hype it up because it isn't what people will expect.
I heard that a lot of people are like, you either love it or you leave the movie being like, what the fuck was that?
You either really love it or you walk away disappointed.
Yeah.
And that either way, that's fine. But I really loved it. The soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah.
Soundtrack is so I have that soundtrack. Like, I can't wait to buy the vinyl.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna pre-order that. Like, I don't buy DVDs often. I used to have a really big DVD collection when I was really into the MCU, and I had like a lot of the MCU movies, and now my DVD collection is, I have none anymore, but I'm going to rebuild it, and that's definitely the first one I'm going to bring into it. I saw the TV glow. I love the director. She did We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is you
Nice.
told me that you saw
Yeah,
that
I
too.
did, yeah.
Dude,
It's really good.
She's becoming one of my favorite directors. I love her stuff so much. But yeah, I saw the TV glow. Love the soundtrack. If you're gonna look up anything, just watch the trailer. Don't look at the comments. Nothing. Just go watch it. It's so good. I love that movie so much.
Now, do you know if it's streaming anywhere yet, or is it not? You hit streaming.
It's if you want to pay for it on Prime for sure. But July 24th is when the DVD comes out, and
Okay.
I'm gonna buy. I'm buying physical. I'm buying that movie.
I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah, I love it so much.
I think my buddy David also recommended that one.
Did he see it in theater?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Nice.
I know he was definitely talking about that one after a comedy show.
Yeah.
I want to know how he feels about that, because there's certain people who don't like it I've talked to, and I'm just like, you just don't understand it, being that pretentious filmmaker.
He sees so many movies. Actually, there's one particular episode of Home Movies that I kind of want to ask him if he wants to be a guest on. But yeah, he sees so many movies that I told him about the movie we went to see, that Watchers movie. And we were we didn't
yeah.
really care for it. He's like, yeah, considering the movies I've seen, he's like, that one was actually pretty good. Because he's seen like that tarot movie, and he was like, dude, that was so bad.
I can't even entertain going to see a movie called Tarot. I'm sure it's so fucking good.
Like Ouija. Did you watch Ouija?
No, anything that like depicts paganism falsely, I'm like, no, I'm not watching that shit.
Oh, it's so crazy because like anything that has witchcraft in my family, they're always like, oh, it's so scary, and it's like, dog, what are you fucking talking about? The Watchers, you guys went and saw that movie?
Yeah, we saw it on our anniversary.
Was it bad?
It was very predictable.
Okay.
It was like a you want to get out of the house and watch something.
A
type of
real
movie.
quick side story, real quick about that. We went
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see that. That movie came out on a Friday. We saw it the Wednesday before, and we were like, "Is this a mistake?" Because the theater here in town was playing it the Wednesday before, and I had mentioned it to my sister. She used to work at that theater, and so she knows a manager at the movie theater, and she brought it up like, "Hey, did you guys play that movie, The Watchers, like early?" And she said, yeah, we did. Actually, sometimes they'll let us do that because we're a smaller theater in a small town. She's like, we do it. A lot of people don't know about it because, as a matter of fact, like The Watchers, we had that Wednesday afternoon screening and one couple showed up. And my sister's like, I think that was my brother and his fiance.
Yeah, that was us.
You guys had the whole theater to yourself?
Yeah, it was.
Ah,
it
that's
was
a
great.
good experience.
If only the chairs weren't so goddamn
the chairs are
uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't go to the. I almost just doxed you guys, but
Yeah.
that's why I don't go to this
This
specific
theater.
But
specific theater.
You know, it hasn't been updated since like the fucking like 90s, early 2000s. So when you go there, it's like stepping back in time.
It is.
And it's a little nostalgic, and I don't mind it.
I miss this. I love movies. I love movie theaters. I hate that they're dying. I really do.
Yeah.
My old movie theater I used to go to all the time, it had these beautiful classic murals on both sides that have all of these classic movies, and it was so beautiful. And now there's a fucking bar in the middle of it, and the murals are gone, and they're just advertisements all over the place. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Exactly. But the chairs are great.
And it's, but it's very sad that this theater here in town is my favorite because every time we go see a movie, we are the only ones in there.
The most people we've had in there for a movie was maybe 6, including us, when we saw Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
I like empty. I've only had a couple of experiences where there have been empty theaters. One was when I went and saw Monster Trucks when I was trying to be a movie reviewer, and there's one other dude there, and we were both looking at each other like, "Why are you here to watch this movie?" And then the other time I was on a date, and we watched the new Grinch movie that came out, and don't remember the movie
Because it was mid.
it was pretty bad.
Any
That's
Grinch
why.
movie compared to Jim Carrey's is mid.
That's why.
Really?
So I'll do my creative corner real quick, and then
yeah.
we'll jump into this episode.
Sorry.
I'll keep my. We don't apologize for ADD rants here.
What about subtraction?
Just edit out my sorries.
So I'll keep mine short and sweet. We watched the Fallout series, and I fucking loved it. I loved it so much. What?
No, I love the Fallout series too. I don't want to spoil anything. But
I'm not going to.
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
going to. But I just say I've already done Fallout 76 as one of my creative corners. And when the TV show came out, it had such a resurgence that people were like congratulating me because of how popular Fallout got because of the show. It made Fallout 76 kind of blow up. There was new players all over the place. That felt kind of good to see all the newbies, and yeah, it was really nice. So highly recommended. We watched the entire series. I'll happily watch it again.
Yeah.
I can't wait for season 2. I believe it's going to take place but I won't even say.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited. So
Same.
Yeah,
No,
there
no.
we go.
Me and Tim, we both love Fallout, but I think we're on two separate spectrums of the Fallout. Like you're on one side, and I'm on.
I'm the newer Fallout. I really got into Fallout on Fallout 4. So, I know you guys are like the older. By older, I mean New Vegas and 3.
Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. The other day, me and Ed tried playing Fallout 1 and because we wanted to play all. It's not good.
They're tough.
It's
They're tough.
really hard to get through. It's really hard to have any charm to it. Whereas, like, you go back to Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, like, there's shitty graphics, but there's some charm to it. And there's just no charm with Fallout 1. And if you disagree with me, send me an email about how I'm wrong, and I'll agree with you.
Yeah, send us an email through our Linktree. There you go. Linktree at RHMpod. All right, you guys ready to get started on this episode?
yeah.
Life
Oh,
through
yeah.
a fisheye lens. How fun. Let's jump into it. So this episode, it opens up with Brendan, Jason, and Melissa, 2 unnamed characters. They're filming a movie about aliens. The movie is actually called Aliens Go Home.
Oh, I was looking for that because I'm trying to keep track of all
I believe it was on the clapboard for like 1 second.
Oh, good catch.
With Jason is the lead as the father, Melissa is the daughter, then the 2 unnamed students plays the role of the aliens. Brendan calls action, and the scene plays out with Jason trying to fend off the aliens. Melissa comes in as the daughter and scared about the aliens. Jason explains the aliens are sucking the life out of him, and I'm dead. Melissa calls for help, and then Jason, as the father, reminds her, I can't. I'm dead. Brendan calls cut, and he's like, yeah, this isn't working. Jason and Melissa, they kind of agree. Melissa says she feels kind of uninspired, and Jason is like, yeah, the writing. It's the writing. The writing is very stiff. Brendan, I'm not a fan of this critique, and Jason, is literally like, no, Melissa is my daughter. I wouldn't call her daughter. I'd be calling her by her name. I'm her father. She calls me father. He spells it out for him.
He's got a point.
Yeah. Brendan disagrees, and he's like, no, obviously it's not the amazing dialogue I wrote. It was the fact that we need a fisheye lens.
I felt that the second he said that. No, it's not the dialogue. We need a new lens. When you start going into filmmaking and you start looking at all the glass, it's like, oh, this one makes all the lights look like ovals. I need that one. That's what it'll do.
And he does it so many times in the episode, but you're now creating storylines and movie plots that are like, and then everything looks goofy.
Literally working on Sotka 2. I'm like, I found this new lens. It's the zoom lens where it goes to like 70 millimeters to whatever. But it was just, do you remember the scene we were filming in the basement and I was like 50 feet away and I was zooming in a close up on your face, Adele? Like, lenses really do bring out so much fun in a filmmaker, even though the dialogue can be
yeah.
the problem.
Brendan's kind of missing the point, but hey, that's, you're a kid, you're ambitious, and you don't want to take that criticism. So it's this point where Mrs. Small comes in and she interrupts the filming to ask the kids if they want to go for ice cream. Kids are like, yay! And then she says, get it yourself. And they're like, oh. And then she says, kidding, I'm only joking. This goes on a couple times. Yeah, one of the times she's like, too late. And she's like, oh. And she's like, I'm teasing. To the point where Jason is like, Brendan, your mom is funny. And then while rolling his eyes, he's like, I think it's her timing.
That would definitely have an effect on me as an adult if my parents did that to me constantly.
Well, and we even see it in the earlier episodes, like when they lose the cat, when she's just like, oh my God, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So yeah, Paula's humor is interesting at best. So the next scene, we got the kids in the car going to...
But the gnome was in the first scene.
Was it?
Yeah. When it cuts back to the two aliens, the gnome is like right between the aliens.
Oh.
They're right in my notes.
I didn't even notice that.
Gnome right away. Gnome
Right
spotted.
away, gnome. Holy cow, I don't think I even have that in my notes.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm the expert now.
Adele's the
All right,
MVP
let's
of the
switch
episode.
spots.
No, I'm really not.
We're on
You
the
can stay
second
stay
paragraph right
there.
here. It's one of the many paragraphs that starts with the next scene.
We just have to start cheering for Adele like the kids in the car.
3 cheers
For Adele.
for Adele's knowledge.
Just for my knowledge, I got other aspects.
Name some.
Her beauty, her brains,
Thank you,
her
Tim.
artistic abilities. I could go on, but we're doing a home movies podcast right now. So yeah, we're doing 3 cheers for Brendan's mom. She looks a little annoyed, and she said, you know what? If you keep it up, I'm going to drop you off at the next corner. And the children are just shocked and horrified. And then she says, that's exactly where the ice cream store is. I love that she called it the ice cream store. I don't know why.
The ice cream. I'm at the soup store.
So we're at the ice cream store called Splits. The woman, I remember Marston's reaction when she says the total is $10.50.
I literally wrote down, what a time to be alive.
I know, right?
$10.50 could barely get 2 people ice cream right now. And that was like a group of children.
I counted them. There was like 5 kids.
I have kids, yep.
5 kids, and then the adult, and then Jason, that son of a bitch.
So Paula
we'll
opens
get
her
to it.
wallet to pay for the $10.50 worth of ice cream. $479 worth of ice cream by today's standards. She opens her wallet and a moth flies out. So that's when she confesses she only has $2. There's a line behind him. She even makes a comment that she's got people waiting. She starts taking away ice creams. Brendan's first, of course. She takes Melissa's and she says, I don't want to ruin your dinner. And Melissa's like, this is my dinner.
I felt that.
Yep.
So she takes away essentially ice cream from everyone except for Jason and his triple scoop.
That son of a bitch.
Ends up ordering cups of water for the kids. And then, yeah, Jason very quickly runs back to the car, probably understanding the situation of him being the only one who gets ice cream.
Plot twist, I hated Jason in this episode.
A plot twist.
Because when he's gross, doesn't faze me at all. I'm gross. I relate to it in a way. But like when he's an ice cream hog, no, bitch. Absolutely not.
There's several reasons why I did not like Jason this episode.
Oh, I had a list going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote down Jason is an asshole.
Yeah, Jason is very selfish this episode. And we see it in the next scene when we're driving back from the ice cream store. All the kids are very loudly slurping on their cups of water, except Jason, who's very loudly slurping his triple scooped ice cream cone.
Oh.
Melissa asks Jason how his ice cream is, and he tells her, hey, take a picture. It'll last longer.
Fucking dick.
Oh, Jason reminded me of somebody in this.
Why are you looking
In
at me
this
when you
scene.
said that?
No, I'm not. I'm looking at you because you know who I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say. It's like, I'd give you some ice cream.
I know.
And he's like, I'm just so full.
So full. Probably shouldn't have ordered that triple scoop.
You want the cone?
One of the unnamed alien kids asks Brendan, "Brendan, is your mom poor?" And he's like, "No." But as he says that, the car breaks down. Brendan jokes, we should have taken the Mercedes.
I did want to ask you guys, I don't know how you guys grew up, but did this episode give you anxiety when anything financially?
Any car issues in general, especially when you're holding up traffic, gives me severe anxiety. I did that off a very busy bridge once. My car broke down in a turn lane, in the only turn lane, right over a bridge, and it was hours before I somehow I tried to start my car again, and it did, and I was like, holy fuck.
Just kidding, everyone.
Yeah. Excuse me, 2.5 mile long line of cars behind me.
Gotcha.
Listen, prank. Check out my YouTube channel.
I was going to go do a 48-hour film competition in the city to be a part of a group at one point, and this was a couple years ago, and I was it was bumper to bumper traffic, and my car just stops. And I tried turning it on. And I was like, oh no. And I don't believe in God. I have a very bad relationship with God. And I was sitting there like, God, if you let me turn on this car, I will turn back around and go home. I won't compete this year, I promise. And it turned on, and I went home.
Damn.
Yeah, no, car issues like that, financial, I get, when you mentioned that being in the turning lane, I shivered. That sucks.
Yeah. And I almost exclusively have only driven piece of shit cars. So it's an anxiety I get to carry around with me.
Same.
Literally everywhere I go.
Oh, same. Your car breaks down? Go on Craigslist, grab a $1,000 one.
Yep.
You'll be back in 4 months.
Yeah. Don't worry, you don't have to renew the license plate sticker. It will not last a year. Paula is obviously very flustered at this point. She's telling the cars behind her to go around. Melissa gets Paula's attention, and Paula is like, "What, Melissa?" And she's like, "Do you want to use my cell phone to call a tow?" So then, of course, we get 3 cheers for Melissa's cell phone. Melissa's cell phone.
But also, an 8-year-old with a cell phone in 2001.
Wild, right?
Yeah.
It was even like the old school ass cell
flip
phone.
one,
Yeah.
Wait, was that a show of status that Melissa just
Her dad's rich, dude.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, my mom pre-cell phones broke down on the side of speaking of car problems, broke down on the side of the road once on her way to work. And we were actually hours later going somewhere and just happened to pass her and see her. Yeah. My dad got her a cell phone the next day.
Good.
So this was back in the day cell phone.
Taking care of his woman.
Yeah.
Love it. You
But
love to hear it.
definitely think it was a status thing for...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Especially an 8-year-old having a
And
cell
especially
phone.
that, it's just Eric and Melissa. It probably wants to be like, yeah, you have your freedom, but just in case I need to get a hold of you or vice versa.
How old were you guys when you first got your cell phones?
That's kind of a trick question for me because cell phones weren't much of a thing until after I was... When I was out of high school, I think maybe my senior year, maybe 1 or 2 people had cell phones. That was it. Not many people had cell phones at all. I didn't get a cell phone probably until I was 19 or 20.
Sophomore year. That was mine.
I got mine when I was 14, but it was because I guilt tripped my dad. I was like, I gotta walk home from school. What if someone tries to kidnap me?
Because I'm a girl.
And he's like, we're getting you a cell phone. It's like, hell yeah. My brother's pissed off. I'm like, this is the only time it works for me.
I don't know why, but I kind of wish I never got one. I really do.
Bro, I hate this thing. It's ruined my brain.
Oh, I didn't get my first smartphone, I guess, in, I don't know, 2009 or something like that.
I think my first one was 2013.
Sophomore year was my first phone, but smartphone. But I had she would let me use it to text people. I had the flip one, so I would have to do in order to text anyone, you have to go 888. Right. Yeah, in order to get that.
Yeah, I had the old Nokia brick.
Oh my God, trying to text my friends. It's like, this is my mom's phone.
Yeah.
So be respectful when you text me, please.
I had a pager way back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, la-di-da, Dr. President. It was also at this point when Jason is like, ugh, vomit. He's like, is anyone else lactose intolerant?
That was the least worst thing that he's done this episode.
That triggered me.
The lactose intolerant part, or the part where he was
Just all of Jason in that scene.
Yeah.
That was extreme selfishness on Jason's part.
For sure.
So next we find ourselves at soccer practice. Coach McGurk is giving a pep talk. His pep talk is they lost the game the other day because of the kids, not because of the coaching. Okay, don't get it twisted. As he's talking, Brendan imagines Coach through a fisheye lens holding up his water bottle to kind of distort the image. Coach confesses to Brendan that he actually went to school for architecture. And yet here he is coaching kids soccer. He brings up they have a game Friday, and the team they're playing against is coached by his mentor, Coach Ralph. So McGurk says the best way he can think to thank his mentor is by cheating and winning. So if the kids have any ideas to let him know.
I expected more from McGurk this episode around. I'd like, not as in like I'm so disappointed in him, but like I expected the episode to turn around on its head at some point and like, oh, he's gonna go back to Coach McGurk and something's gonna. No, he was a side character this time around.
Yeah,
He's
Coach
usually,
McGurk played very little role in this episode.
He's usually the front man for me.
Maybe that was just H. John's availability. Who knows? Next scene, we find Brendan, Jason, Melissa at Barlow Film and Video Supply. Brendan is looking through the fisheye lens, really excited about how goofy it makes everything look. He shows Melissa. Melissa seems to be, equally impressed. But then they show it to Jason, who is holding it backwards to give it more of kind of a pinched effect. And he's like, I don't get it.
That's the part that really pissed me off about Jason.
For that, I wrote Killjoy.
He's literally.
Yeah.
Even from the beginning, he's kind of like waiting his turn to look through it. He's like, all right, can I see it? And he's like, yeah, I don't. When Brendan looks through it and he looks at Jason, he's like, Jason, you look, oh, wow. And Jason's almost like, hey, that's not
not nice.
very nice.
What was the quote that he said? He's like, using this fisheye lens is a little bit passe, or whatever he said, but it just sounded like some just film bro that went to film
he says
school.
a few things about like working within your means, knowing your limitations. Does he call it Hackney?
Yeah, something like that. And the thing is that I hate about it is that he's right. You should work within your limitations and not try to strive for something that isn't going to affect it. But at the same time, you're being cynical and you're being a dick.
Yeah. Brendan gives it back to the cashier and he's like, put my name on this lens because I'll be back to buy it. And the cashier's like, cool. We close in an hour. And he's like, no, I mean back in like
A few days.
couple days or like a week. Or I feel like every retail job I've had has had like that customer who's just kind of a little annoying or like, very like, oh, dude, I'm totally going to buy this. And you're like, oh, like right now? Like, no, not right now.
Like they're trying to prove something to you. But that's how I feel when I walk into a store. I'm like, I'm not stealing anything. You see, I want this. I want to have this. I just don't have the money.
All right. So next we see Paula. We're at the small residence. She's at the dining room table, a stack of bills and a calculator. Brandon approaches her, asks if this is the window to make withdrawals. And Paula responds, nope, this window is for deposits only. Brendan does that thing where he like laughs a little too hard at her joke. How are you able to run such a household and still manage to look so good? So Paula like immediately is like, all right, what do you want? So he starts his spiel with the term, have you ever heard the term slip him a Mickey? In reference, it's literally like a reference to like drugging somebody.
Yeah.
But what does Mickey mean? Is a Mickey a thing?
Is it a specific drug?
I think it was the slang name for a specific drug. I don't know exactly which one. I suppose I could Google it right now.
Alexa, what's a Mickey?
Yeah, right? Contacting FBI. But yeah, no, I believe it was a specific term for a drug. Yeah, that would knock you out. When Paula finally asks what he's talking about, he tells her a fisheye lens, and she's like, no pets. And he's like, no, it's a lens for the camera. But she explains it's not only do they not have the budget right now, but the car needs repairs, a lot of other things. But now they're on a budget. So from this point forward, like no, needless spending. And that especially means a fisheye lens. Brendan blows her off, and in the background we see the sink just like explode with the water. Brendan tries to downplay it as he attempts to fix it. He's like, anyway, it's a fisheye lens. You'll think about it,
Brendan reminds me of Jack constantly.
Yeah.
He loves to DIY projects that you need to hire professionals for, like plumbing and stuff, so he can buy his fun toys.
I was literally about to ask you guys, have you ever had to deal with plumbing problems?
I don't think I've ever DIY'd
No.
plumbing problems. Thankfully.
It is a nightmare. It just when that sink exploded, I had a flashback because at my old house
didn't the basement flood a lot?
it flooded a lot from rain, but then at one point, I don't know who did it. I have a good idea who did it, but someone put something down the pipes in the shower that caused some sort of blockage, and I had to become a plumber in like 12 hours. I had to cut through the hole into the bathtub, and like I'll just call it sewage spilling out everywhere, and just it was awful. I hate it. Hire a plumber, please.
You want to call out who did it?
It was my aunt. She was a piece of shit. I hate her so much.
I mean, I've heard stories.
Yeah, exactly. But she's bad, and they expected me to do it because I know how, somehow. I didn't. I just went on YouTube, and guess what? They didn't know the answers either. Wasn't good. Poverty shit like that, like where this joke is like, aha, this thing broke, and now we need to fix it real bad. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, well, it's definitely like a figurative and literal kind of when it rains, it pours. With car problems and then plumbing issues. It's very expensive to be poor these days.
Oh yeah. Imagine being poor back then when ice cream was $10.50.
Oh.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. There's a scene later too where they talk about the price of a quote unquote expensive camera, and I'm like,
exactly.
all right. The next scene, we're at this small residence. Later that night, Brendan's looking at a fish in a magazine, talking about how jealous he is of the way he sees the world with his fisheye eyes. He overhears his mom rehearsing, asking her mom to borrow money while talking to a banana. Brendan interrupts her and startles her, and she says, I didn't hear you come in. And he's like, well, yeah, it's probably because there's a banana in your ear. She says it's an earring. She's like, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. You're too young to understand. And Brendan completely clocks it. He's like, it sounds like you're practicing asking grandma to borrow money. He's like, I want in.
I wrote that in.
I want in. And he's like, I got some advice, some tips for you. He tries to strike up a deal, pretty much saying, if I help you practice asking grandma for money, I want a fisheye lens. Paula is like, no, Brendan, don't worry about this. You're going to bed. And Brendan's like, dude, it's 6:30. And I'll lay down the plan. So Paula's reluctant. So Brendan's like, fine. If you want to talk about it, I'll be right over here. And then slightly turns away. I love that scene.
Oh, during that scene where he's just like looking back and forth, I was like, if you slowed that down a little bit and put a lo-fi song behind it, I could see that on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we should do that.
Oh yeah.
Let's make some lo-fi music and then
I'll just take the theme for this podcast and stretch it a bit and then just put it on that.
Yes. Paula, finally, she's intrigued. She's like, okay, what's the plan? And Brendan, actually, his advice, not bad.
Yeah, it's solid.
He's like, first, you got to do it in person. That way you can compliment what they're wearing. I notice Brendan does this a lot. It cracks me up so much because there's definitely a little foreshadowing there to a later episode where there's an entire song about kind of Brendan's mode of manipulation, which is very compliment driven.
He has a good relationship with his mom, where his mom knows where the bullshit is and like stops it or continues with it if she's like, well, let's see how it goes.
She definitely, a lot of times is like, you know what? I'm going to hear you out on this one. It's a very interesting mother-son relationship. It's like sometimes it's a parental relationship and sometimes it's just a friendship.
Yeah, refreshing.
It's very nice. You don't see a lot of like honest and real relationships between a mom and son on TV like that.
Yeah, and it just makes me even more jealous.
Brendan mentions the old, like, if you're sitting at a poker table and you don't know who the sucker is, and Paul even says, yeah, it's probably you. So he tells her you got to drop your chin and give her the puppy dog eyes, which Paula replies, hey, I gave that look $5 last week. And Brendan's like, gotcha.
I looked over at you and you chuckled a bit to the gotcha, so I assume that's...
I like that part.
Yeah.
Then he hit her with the 3-card Monty. Find the lady.
It's not even there.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
Yep. He's like, now you owe me $20. And she's like, let's double or nothing, but this time let's do it with the cards face up. We're at the next scene. We're at soccer practice. Coach is... Oh, the scene opens with the rolling soccer ball. We see Coach McGurk. He proceeds to throw the ball at Brendan's face. Another throwing the ball to the face gag. Personally, I don't think that ever gets old. He even tells Brendan to stop using your nose. Coach says he needs Brendan to practice if they're going to win the big soccer game coming up. And Brendan was even like, dude, I thought we were cheating. You said you were going to get some high school kids. And Brendan's like, yeah, it was too expensive.
To pay high schoolers?
To play a children's soccer game? I don't know. Maybe he just told him it was too expensive. So to encourage him.
To do better.
Or not. Who knows? It's McGurk, dude.
McGurk does some crazy things.
Yeah, the next episode is a little more McGurk heavy, and he's very cringy.
Really?
Oh, God, yes.
I saw the first episode when he was on a date with his mom. That did give me a lot of secondhand embarrassment. I don't know if you get a lot of secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Not to get into the next episode, but it's...
Oh, you guys already watched it. That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just watch it after this, just for funsies.
Maybe.
So, Brendan says he's got to leave soon because he's got to go find a job. Coach is like, why do you need a job? You're 5. And Brendan's like, dude, I'm 8.
Big difference.
Yeah, you would think a soccer coach would know that. And then Brendan informs he needs money for a fisheye lens. And the whole time, Coach is just randomly throwing soccer balls at his face.
And he's finding it very funny. He's I actually like it when you use your face. Well, I don't think he said it exactly like that. Next scene.
That was me whispering it to myself. So, yeah, the next scene, I like the music. It's the little montage of Brendan looking through the paper for the jobs. The first job he lands is the paper boy, which he's pretty good at, you know. He's like riding around, tossing his papers. Not doing too bad, but then classic paper boy trope, he runs into a mean dog.
And a car.
Yeah, and a car. So he jumps on top of the car to get away from the dog. And the owner of the car sees the dog and drives away. He's like, peace, I'm out.
Mm-hmm. So. Did anyone catch the vanity plate or the plate?
No, I didn't. What did it say?
I was trying to figure it out, but it went by so quickly. And
oh, yeah. We could double check. I don't know if it was anything specific.
It looked like it was something, and I assumed there would be some sort of joke there. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
There's no way to find out. Next job he has, he's working for Melissa's dad, Eric, who is a real estate agent. He's got probably one of the most convoluted ways to organize documents. It says, for example, if you have a house and it's a 3-bedroom house, I'll file that under T. Apparently for 3-bedroom house. But wouldn't 2-bedroom house also go into T's?
I like it when it's a single family home.
Yeah, single family home goes under S.
I just realized the sign for his is Eric's real estate.
Yeah.
That's a good bit.
Yeah.
I also like in the opening part of he walks in, he's like, you know the alphabet? Forget it. He's like, done. Done.
He even says, if you're not looking to buy a house, I don't file that. Because I only deal. I don't worship the ground people walk on, but I do buy and sell the things that are built on the ground that they walk on. Which is a great way to explain that to an 8-year-old.
For sure.
He tells them that he'll be in charge of taking phone calls, and then they end up doing a mock phone call, which goes pretty terribly.
He does it a few more times. He get some practice in.
Then we have another quick scene where Eric is showing Brendan how to shred documents. Brendan is a little preoccupied with, I believe they're called Newton's Cradle. It's the little desk ball thing that goes back and forth.
Have you ever had one of those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I worked at Spencer's. So
okay.
Yeah, of course. They give them to you when you get hired.
Really?
No.
Damn.
Not at all.
I was about to say, they're actually quite disappointing, in my opinion. You just
we just
ding.
sold them. Eric makes a joke that they have nowhere to put these papers, so they have to shred them. Otherwise, somebody's going to go away for a very long time.
And he hits him with a, just kidding.
Yeah, I'm only kidding, of course. He asked Brendan if he could shred a stack of documents for him, and Brendan agrees. The next scene, I can explain it. I think I actually have it queued up if you want to just watch it.
Yeah, you definitely have it queued up.
This scene ends with probably, I will say, one of my favorite Eric lines.
I think I wrote that line down.
Yes. So here we go after he was asked to shred some documents.
I am really sorry. You said all the files. I thought you meant everything in all the drawers and everything everywhere. Eric, are you sure there's nothing I can do for you? I'm so sorry.
No.
Well, technically, all the documents are still here. They're not
Eric's
gone.
in the fetal position.
They're just disassembled, and if you want me to, I can go through them and try to reassemble them.
No, that's okay.
All right, we'll hang
We
out
call
for
that the
the day.
Marson position.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
So am I fired or
Not at all. In fact, I'm going to give you some time off.
a vacation? Thank you. Can we just talk about payment really quickly?
You know what? I shredded your check by mistake.
I love
I'm
that.
sure you understand how that can happen.
Oh, well. So what's next on the agenda?
You know, I think in your own childish way, you've stumbled across an entirely new filing system for me.
Right.
This is the paperless office that I've been reading about.
That's what I was going to say.
What is this?
That's a lettuce. Guess what kind?
I'm going to say romaine.
You're right. That's a
You're right.
right there. That worked out nicely. That's, I'll tell you what does not shred nicely is that plum.
Oh, because of the pit?
The pit, kind of like I had to get in there with a screwdriver, which is
Yeah. You know, one of the things I'm most proud of as a parent is that I've never struck a child.
yeah.
But I'm willing to be proud of something else today.
That last line was what I wrote down.
Oh, just such a beautiful line. And Brendan's like, really?
I'm willing to be proud of something else today. In the most legally non-binding way, have you ever wanted to strike a child, either of you?
I don't interact with kids.
Yeah, I don't have kids,
That-
so
I was-
I just have like nieces and nephews and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's never gotten to a point where I had a child hit me in the head with a hammer.
No.
Yeah,
Where's this child?
Is that why
He's
Tim's a
grown up
ghost?
now. Yeah, that's why I am the way I am.
Amazing.
Yes.
Aw.
Yes, I used to be such an asshole. And then this child hit me in the head with a hammer, and I was like,
And now you have psychic powers.
Let's so Tim.
Now I'm a nice guy.
I raised a lot of the kids in my family, so like I had a lot of nieces and nephews and cousins.
So you're like Shameless, the Shameless show.
Oh yeah, like Lip from Shameless. Like that. My friends would always tell me to watch Shameless because it's just like your family. I'm like, that's why I don't want to watch it. I've never.
I want to escape reality.
Right.
Exactly. But I've gotten to a point where like a kid is just trying to talk to me, like not trying to piss me off, but is telling me what they did and trying to be very truthful. And I'm like, oh my God, you destroyed the railing. So where's everyone else? Oh, hiding? You don't know where they are? They ran down the street? Interesting. And now I have to go on some escapade to find 6 different children in 6 different directions? I'm willing to be proud of something else today.
I've never been trusted to babysit or anything like that, so yeah, I've never had any kind of those encounters with children.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yes.
And now I don't want kids, and there's a reason for that.
Amen, dude.
Let's go.
Yeah. So the very next scene, we find ourselves at Splits, the ice cream store, as Paula would say. Brendan's outside sweeping. Melissa and Jason approach him. I love it, dude. Jason is being such a dick. He's like, "What's up, sucker?" How's it going, chump?
That one.
Fucking Jason.
See,
Melissa, very quickly, though, was like, "Jason, shut up. He can get us free ice cream." And Jason's like, "Wait, he can?" So then Brendan is like, "Just so you guys know, I had this idea for a movie about a guy who works at an ice cream shop, and he's trying to invent the best flavor of ice cream ever. And in the process, he takes some bad ice cream, and everything looks all goofy."
goofy. Jason has a good line.
What did he say?
He's like the title of it. What was it? Ice
Dreams?
Ice Dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had another one for it, too. So then Melissa's like, "Now, would this movie happen to require a fisheye lens?" And of course, Brendan says yes. And Melissa's like, all right, well, how close are you to buying it? How much do you get paid here? And that's when Brendan kind of confesses that he doesn't get paid yet. If he keeps showing up one day, they have to hire him. And then Jason is like, oh, you really are a chump.
Yeah, it's capitalist dreams out there. Just go out there and be somebody.
Pick yourself up by the bootstraps.
Fake it till you make it.
So, I mean, Melissa is like, hey, it is good initiative, but then the woman is like, hey, I told you to go home. Next scene, we're at Brendan's grandparents' house. He's sitting on the couch with his grandpa. I'm going to give a quick side note here. There's an episode further down in the series. His grandma and grandpa do come back. His grandpa looks and sounds completely different.
Is it a different voice actor?
I think so.
Yeah.
But even the character art is a little bit different too. I believe he wears glasses instead. He's a little more he's got like more of a shadow and not the goatee. And he's not as like this grandpa was kind of weird.
Yeah.
He just took off his shirt.
Yeah.
He's just like, woo!
He took his belly out.
He did. And he said that's the only time he feels alive or something. Can't remember what he said. Dude.
He goes off on it. He's like, I don't give two damns, Brendan. Two damns.
I tried drawing him. Like, he was going to be one of the characters I drew, and he came out horrifying. And I was like, maybe I didn't get this right. And I looked back at it, and he also looked horrifying.
Yeah, during the scene, I had to make sure I looked up a particular scene to make sure, like, yeah, no, the grandpa did look and sound different. And I definitely like the other grandpa, but I'm not a fan of this grandpa.
In the background, when she's doing the dishes, I legitimately thought he was having a heart attack.
Yeah, I think he's, like, sleeping, but he's, like, kicking his little feet up.
He looked like he was convulsing.
Yeah, and he's weird. He tells Brendan, like, yeah, that's why you got to stay in school, Brendan. And Brendan's like, I am in school, Grandpa. Brendan totally is like, yeah, I play soccer. I'm like the best on the team. And that's when he jumps on the couch, lifts his shirt up. He tells her, I don't give two damns, Brendan.
Is that just something that the animators did? That they're just like, yeah.
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay. Because no one mentions it, no one brings it.
I will say, I listened to an episode commentary where, again, retroscripting, improv. So many lines are like, yeah, watch this. Or even, and then everyone else will just react. They said Melissa's go-to is usually like, ew. But one of the first ones was the first or second episode where Brendan's in the sandbox. Yeah. And he's like, look at this. And so the animators are like, oh, it's a dead mouse. And I was like, ew.
Let's try it right now. Watch this.
Ew.
Nice.
Oh.
Completely changes the scene. Completely changes.
Does oh hell yeah, dude.
That's my shit right there, dude.
I'm still like, ew.
And then the animators are gonna draw your shit. You're like, nice, that's mine. Animators hold all the power here.
Yeah. We're still at grandparents' house, but now Brendan and Paula are doing dishes. Brendan asks how things are going, and Paula is still pretty nervous. And Brendan tells her, you can't wait. You can't wait till the end. Yeah, you gotta, it'll make things worse. And he's like, oh, and not to make things worse, but I owe Grandpa $60. Oh, because he does ask his grandpa if he wants to play poker.
That's right.
At the end.
And he was the sucker.
And his grandpa was down, and yep, he was the sucker. So Brendan is scraping food into the trash. We hear Paula's mom yell out, make sure to save the leftovers because we can get a meal or two out of them. And Paula's like, start digging.
Aw.
So
love hair lettuce, whatever was in there. It looked like
garbage disposal.
Yeah.
So from there we cut to Paula and Brendan and Josie as they're leaving. Paula is thanking her for the loan, and her mom says, don't worry about it. And Brendan to himself is, hello, fisheye lens.
Boom. And that's it.
So it's so funny too because when I said his grandpa looks different in the first time we see him versus it reminded me Seinfeld did the same thing. The first time you see Jerry's dad, he's a completely different actor and
really,
yeah. So
how do they think they can get away with it?
I don't know. For shows, I assume it's like, oh, we couldn't get the original actor back, so we just whatever. For animation, it's like, You guys knew he was in an episode before. They don't even go back and watch their own shows. The animators are like,
How we got
Close
bored
enough.
with that design.
yeah. So next scene, we're at the end of the soccer game. Coach is pleasantly surprised by the way the kids performed. He almost seems proud. Brendan and Melissa point out that they tied, which is pretty much like, quote, kissing your sister.
I don't get that.
McGurk gets it, and he.
Well, oh yeah,
agrees.
that's right. Because Brendan is like, Coach, didn't you say tying is like kissing your sister? And he's like, yep.
Because it doesn't count.
I gotta leave, guys. I gotta go.
Ew.
Nice.
Nice.
I assume that's what that means.
I think it counts. It should count.
Just
But, like-
have you seen? Go ahead.
Never mind.
Not to
I don't know
reference
where
the
that was
Fallout
going.
show, but it's just cousin stuff. It doesn't count.
Have you ever seen like We're the Millers?
No.
Oh my god, it's so funny because they pretend to be like a family. Like they're on the run basically. They're pretending to be a family, and at one point, one of the kids who is supposed to be his son is like, I have never kissed anyone. So he kisses the girl who's pretending to be his sister, and he's like this, and she's like no, and then the mom gets involved. He's like, no, kiss me like this, and you just see the dad's like, that's nice, and he's eating chips, and someone's in the window watching this, going, what the fuck?
That's uncomfy.
It's a really good movie though. I love it.
That's the one with
Jennifer
Aniston.
and
yeah.
and Jason Sagandis or whatever his name is.
Sudeikis.
That's it. That's the one.
Let's see here. Oh, Coach tells him again, great job. Everyone go home, get some rest. Melissa asks about Coach Ralph, and McGurk admits that, hey, I made up Coach Ralph.
That's so good.
I just wanted to motivate you guys. Brendan is like, Melissa, you owe me $20.
Yeah.
You owe me $20.
The coach is like, I would never have a mentor, especially a soccer one.
He said he did have a mentor, which
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
I love in the animation where he's like, no, that's $20, like, and he's just like putting his finger in your hand, like, they look scuffed up. It looks like they put their heart and soul into it.
I think they actually put forth an effort for Coach.
Yeah. I
They
was pretty disappointed that Ralph didn't show up. I was looking forward to more McGurk and Ralph. I wanted that.
Oh man, but it was kind of smart
Mm-hmm.
to get him motivated like that.
Yeah.
I just love Coach trailing off at the end. Like, I would never have a mentor, let alone a soccer one. Like, I think he even says as it fades out, he's like, let's be real, I only got into the game of soccer like a year ago.
Can you remind me how much the fisheye lens is supposed to be? Did they
I don't
say?
think they give a price for the fisheye lens.
The camera, however.
Yeah. So let's hop in. We're at the next scene. We're in the video shop. Brendan is able to get his fisheye lens. He says his mom is going to let him pay her back. So he asks the employee for the lens. He shows the employee his camera, and the man is quickly like, that lens is not going to fit on this camera. So Brendan's like, what? Do I have to just like buy a new camera? And the employee's nonchalantly like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, okay. How much is that camera then? And he's like, $1,400. And Brendan's like, that's so expensive.
Yeah.
No one can afford
He
that.
goes on a capitalism rant.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I feel that.
Relatable.
Probably the price of the new iPhone.
A new iPhone.
Which has probably a better camera than
didn't
whatever
even-
that video camera
Right.
was back then.
I didn't even hear about the new price of the iPhone.
No, I was just guessing.
Oh, okay. I thought
But-
it was big news.
No, I'm sure it's $1,000, but it's like
Easy.
look up any brand new camera. Like they just came out with a new mirrorless. I forget Z something or whatever. A good one, like a cinema camera, like they're fucking expensive. Like my DSLR I got in 2015. It was because my tax return was fucking crazy, and that's the only reason I got it at the time. And then also is like, you just got to get a new camera. No, you get a fucking lens adapter, dude. Like, that's what you do. You're fucking lying to this kid.
Right? I was like, can't he just like tape the lens on or some shit? Like,
That's a good especially for a lot of DIY filmmakers, if they find like a lens that they really like but it won't fit, it's like, let's get that duct tape on there.
right. Duct tape is great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Holds my car together.
Yeah, unironically, yeah.
I mean, I wish I was joking. That's definitely it's a fact.
Dude, when my muffler was hanging off of my car, I remember going underneath the entire length of this Dodge Durango with a bunch of coat hanger wires, just like, and I will go around the tree once and twice.
I've done that.
Yep.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that he just doesn't think of some solution. I love it. Brendan is like, I'm mad at you. And then he's like, I mean the situation. The situation. But then he's like, no, wait, you know what? Actually. And then that's when Melissa gives him the line. It's like, Brendan, there's nothing you can do. It's Chinatown.
What does that mean?
It's Chinatown. There's nothing you can do. And Jason is even like, what does that mean? And Brendan's like, it's Jason, it's from the movie Chinatown.
Oh.
I've never seen Chinatown. Same. Unless we're talking about Escape from China. Is it that?
No.
It's Escape from L.A. Is there Escape from Chinatown too?
No, there's another fucking movie about Chinatown. And I think John Carpenter did it. It's about a truck driver going through Chinatown.
Call me Snake.
No.
That's Escape from L.A.
What's the... I'm going to lose my mind.
There's just a movie called Chinatown.
Oh, is that?
That's what they're referencing.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, well, at least someone's done screaming at me now.
So we're at the final scene, and we're at the ice cream store. This time everyone has ice cream. Yay, not just Jason.
Jason still has 3 scoops.
Everybody's screaming 3 cheers for Brendan. And that's when Paula says, Brendan, it's a very nice gesture, but let me pay for the ice cream. And Brendan almost immediately is like, Mom, I learned a little bit about money these last few days. Not a lot, but a little.
It's fake.
So the answer to your question is yes, of course you can pay for the ice cream.
You don't get rich by spending money.
It's true.
Jason is even like, great speech, Brendan. And then Paula is like, she seems a little caught off guard. And she's like, yep, I'm a little short. And Brendan looks at Jason. She's like, Jason, pay her.
Oh, I loved how quick that line was.
Yeah.
Just like, Jason, pay her.
And then boom, that's it. That's the end of season 1, episode 9, Life Through
Really
a Fisheye Lens.
I really liked this episode.
It was a good episode.
Made me chuckle.
Gave me lots of different feelings. Anxiety from being poor.
It was a roller coaster. Yep.
It was definitely a bunch of different feelings all wrapped into a fun little episode.
For sure. You want to grade Jason?
So Jason was a dickbag this
100%.
entire episode. Yeah. I honestly, at one point, I wrote down, why are they friends with him?
Right?
Yeah, and I know that's because they're 8, and he was probably just like their neighbor, but I gave him a D for dickbag.
Hell yeah, dude. Nice.
He was really being like, just like you said, killjoy
and an ice cream hog.
And he's like, I'm also lactose intolerant.
Oh, he was farting up that car and hotboxing it with farts.
I feel like he does that even when he's not eating ice cream. I feel like he enjoys doing that.
Ugh.
I feel like
I did not like him this episode.
I feel like, I don't know if you guys know anybody who's like this, but if they were driving the car, would roll up the windows for it.
Would lock the windows.
Yeah.
Fuck. Child lock
not say anything.
Yeah, dick.
The kind of person that does that, and then I was like, does anyone smell popcorn?
Yeah, fuck that. Oh my God.
Rage, fucking rage.
I'm no contact with my dad because of that.
That's the last straw. Years of abuse, whatever. Fart boxing the car, we're done.
Years
Locking
of
the windows.
boxing the car.
Locking the windows and asking if I smell popcorn. No dice.
Telling me not to masturbate or else I'll go to hell.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
Ew.
As for the episode grade, I really liked it, but the anxiety of like anytime a car breaks down in the middle of a movie or a TV show, I'm like, oh no, oh fucking no, oh no, I've been there. Blown head gasket, I can see it right now. It's $5,000. I can't take my car out of the mechanic shop. They won't let me.
So what do you give it?
I give it a B.
Oh, it's a
good episode.
Yeah.
It's a good episode.
In that same vein, I feel similarly, but I really did like this episode a lot. So I'm going to give it a B+.
B+ is good.
Yeah.
It was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Again, probably one of my favorite Eric lines. I'm proud of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the fact I've never hit a child.
Eric is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character.
He's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Eric a lot. There's some classic. I know there wasn't as much McGurk in this episode, but just him lying about the Coach Ralph thing. And then him going on his tangent like me with a mentor. Come on, let's be real.
The fact that he went to school for architecture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Dang, gave up his dreams.
Yeah.
Was that his dream? Maybe.
To be an architecture?
Yeah.
Or just pressure to go and get some kind of degree.
And then he burnt out, and then he fell, and he
Became a soccer coach.
Yeah. Do we touch in on his backstory?
Tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time. Soccer and liquor.
You got it.
Nice.
I was looking for it.
Yeah, I was trying to find it.
I was like, where is it? Where is it? What am I going to say?
Look, it's under the rug. You got
nailed it. You nailed it. So that being said, I'm going to give it an A-. Not my favorite episode, but definitely not my least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a classic. I like the whole premise. I think the story was good. It was tight. Yeah.
Toit.
Liked it a lot.
Toit.
You don't have to have an answer for this, but do you have a favorite episode of this? Like, if you weren't on this podcast and you had to pick an episode, oh yeah, he's shaking his head, yes.
Yeah. Well, I do have a couple that I traditionally will tell people, like, if they're wondering if the show is for them, then I'm like, oh, check out these episodes because they're personal favorites. But yeah, I could probably figure out my, like, all-time.
I'd like to see a top 10 of your favorite episodes at the end of this show.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
While we're wrapping up here, I'm going to lose my mind if I don't know what that vanity plate looks like.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
While I'm looking for this, plugs. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yes, we all do, all of us.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Would you like to go first?
You should go first.
Okay, that's true. I am sleep deprived, and my energy is at an all-time low. I've never listened to the band or the music, but I am so tired because I spent the last week trying to get everything together for this party scene that we are doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're doing a party scene. Oh, wait.
Oh.
007 FL.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but
007, isn't that
Is
like
James Bond.
James Bond?
Yes.
What's the F? Florida.
Florida.
God damn
DeSantis.
DeSantis strikes again.
Do you guys remember? I think it was like episode 2. I mentioned that we never find out what town or state the school doesn't have a name.
I'm gonna say Florida.
Do you think it is Florida?
Well, I feel like there would be palm trees,
Wait.
I can't say that.
Do they have winter? Is there ever winter in this show?
Tim.
Thinking. I believe. We'll see.
There's maybe. We'll find out. Otherwise, definitely Florida.
Yeah. Could explain some things.
It could explain some things, yeah.
Yeah, like why there's a car and a dog in the same street. Just going off. Everyone in Florida wears pajamas. That's probably why.
For sure.
There it is.
But what I was saying was we were doing a party scene tomorrow for Season of the Curse 2.
Ooh.
Yay, we are still trucking along. I was telling Adele the other day that I kind of hope that by the end of this podcast, when we've gone through all of home movies, that Season of the Curse 2 ends or is finished by then, so we can have like our own home movie to go with home movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're still trucking on that. It's going to be a big scene tomorrow. We just did the table read before we got in to do this podcast. I'm super excited and super nervous and super tired, but I came here and it's always great time doing this podcast and doing this. But besides Season of the Curse 2, I'm also doing Puzzle Valley 2000. We've done a few sessions already, a couple episodes.
It's been great.
It's been really fun.
It's been life-changing.
I truly mean that.
For real.
No, I really, really, really like it. Chris, who did the music for this podcast, has done a few bangers, and I do mean bangers for Puzzle Valley 2000. I definitely am going to go back and get some more. But yeah, Puzzle Valley 2000, I'm going to start dropping them when the episodes are done cutting on my Patreon, because I don't know when I'm going to actually start releasing them. Like, I want to release them when we have a big batch, but been working on that. Been working on Season of the Curse 2. Been so many fucking projects, and I love it. I would never stop doing it, and I have a problem. But yeah, that's what I have.
Is it a problem or a purpose?
It's a purpose, and I love it so much. But yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Nice. Adele?
I have an art Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, you do.
It's a great name.
It's Artisanal of Oddity, or Art is Anal of Oddity.
I love that name better.
Art is anal. I mean, it's true.
I'm anal about my art.
I guess I'll plug my TikTok too.
If you want to, yeah.
It's on the Linktree, but it's Elida Alora 1111. You can look it up. I'm not going to spell it for you. I'm so sorry. It's on the Linktree. Make a wish.
1111.
Yes. I was like, Disney?
And as always, the podcast equipment for this podcast was donated to us by the Happy Corner Podcast.
Yep.
The Happy Corner Podcast streams on Twitch at 1:45. What are we, Central Time? I don't know.
We're in the Midwest.
Sure. So you can find them on Twitch, the Happy Corner Podcast, or wherever you find your podcasts. That's going to do it for this episode of Rewatching Home Movies. Join us next week for Season 1, Episode 10, School Nurse. If you liked what you heard, check out our Linktree at RHMpod. There you can like, follow, and subscribe. Send us an email or leave us a 5-star review. I will read 5-star reviews on the podcast. On behalf of myself, Tim, and my co-hosts, Marcin and Adele, thank you for rewatching home movies with us. We'll see you next week. Bye.